happy whatever day of the week it is for you. I realized when I was going to say that, I was going to say happy Friday, but it's Friday for me, the day I'm recording. I'm not sure if it's Friday for you. Definitely not the same day, but it's irrelevant. Happy whatever day of the week it is, whatever time of the week it is, if it's beginning and middle. I hope it's going great. If it's not, I feel you. I hope you're having a better week than I've had for the past like almost 2 weeks because it's been rough. If you haven't been following on my socials, I've been pretty clear that life has been lifing pretty hard. It's a lot when you're like have that long of a period that just is not going great. I'm not going to trauma dump on you, but like family emergency, health, my husband had to leave, like quick turnaround. We got home 30 minutes later, we're in the car booking a flight for him to go see his mom. And yeah, and a lot of stuff happened. Like it was a snowstorm. We haven't had much snow at all. Probably the biggest snowstorm that Denver's had in a hot minute. So we're like rushing, had to kind of pull one over on my daughter. She's 4.5, so we couldn't tell her what was going on. And she's wondering why we're going to the airport. When's daddy coming home? Didn't have an answer. It was a lot. And then it was 10 days of solo parenting. It's just like everything happens. Like it just snowballs. And it was just like, really? This is happening? But we're staying positive. We're making it through. We're dealing because that's life. And, you know, we do the best we can, especially because it's all out of my control. There's nothing I could really do to prevent it, fix it, but we just have to keep going. And honestly, it kind of sucks. That's the way life is. It's full of ups and downs, peaks and valleys, highs and lows. Everyone goes through it. But when you hear that and you're in the moment, it doesn't really do much. Like it doesn't do much for your situation. That doesn't help me. I guess it helps me feel like a part of something, that we're all in this together. You can put me in High School Musical if you'd like. I was like, well, how do we all go through this? How do we cope? Because I know how I cope, but everyone else kind of deals with it and takes it on in different ways. Some of them are similar, but it's all our own way. It's all how we handle it. And sometimes we're not even trying to handle it. We're just doing what we do. We're reacting to it. Basically, long story short, it made me realize that there needs to be a podcast episode about this, about lifing really hard, having no control in it. And how are we all doing this? How do people do it? I asked some of my friends. I literally was like, I'm doing a podcast about this. When life happens, when life gets hard and you can't do anything about it, what do you do? How do you react? What do you go into? What mode? And I got some cool answers. It made me realize like, wow, we are all in this together. I really want to clap, you know, gosh, I'm that old. High School Musical, Zac Efron. Anyway, I digress. So when I got the answers from my friends about what they do to cope and how they deal with this lifing hard, I then went into the professionals, the general psychology world. What do they say about how we do it, what we do, why we do it, and what we should do, or suggestions for what we should do? And then I looked up what my favorite podcasters say and how they say we should do it. And then I also asked my dad because I realized he wrote a book a while ago and there's a whole chapter called Thunderbolts, which I'll talk about later. So let's start with me and how I cope and how I handle it and how I deal and react to lifing. Super hard since, you know, I'm living it right now. Basically, when I feel it out of control and I feel like I can't do anything about it, I like to take control of anything that I possibly can, especially things that have an end result that really please me. And that typically is cleaning, organizing, tasks. I do to-do lists that are like pages long. I color coordinate them. Tetris, you know, when you're putting things into a box and they have to fit and you have to maneuver everything, that really gets my jollies going. I love it. It makes me happy in general, but it definitely helps out and de-stresses me and just makes me really hyper-focus on things. I wouldn't say it's like super healthy. I'm not like, hey, you know what I do something positive when I'm cleaning my kitchen at 1:00 in the morning because I'm like gung-ho going into my soapstone or going my floors and looking everywhere for stuff to clean. It's probably not the healthiest. It's a little OCD. Yeah. But that fits right with me. When I get a little overwhelmed, that's where I go. You can find me cleaning things that maybe don't need to be cleaned. But here's the best part of it. When we left to the airport with my husband, I realized that the kitchen, the living room, our house must have gone through some sort of tornado. It was out of sorts, beyond what it typically is. And I don't know how it happened, but I feel like my husband and I were about to tackle it together to deal with it. And then life was lifing. And don't judge me with how messy it was. But the thing about it was that I was really happy about that because it gave me a huge project. And like that before and after, when it's so drastic and you can see it, it made me feel a lot better. But the other part of that is I feel like I can't settle. Like if everything is out of sorts and there's chaos in the world in my life that I can't control, if my environment, if my home where I'm living and everywhere I look is also chaotic, it's a matter of time before I fall apart, you know? So it's also like a way to prevent a really not good situation. My friends, though, they had interesting answers. I'm going to read them because I want them to be, accurate. So I've been through a lot of seasons of life with them. They know me. I know them. We know each other in times that are very different than now. Pre-kids, really like, pardon my French, fuck the free world time when we're just doing what we want, living life to the fullest with not a care in the world except for like stupid cares. But anyway, so she's a mom of 2, has a husband who works in the medical field, has a lot going on in her life. And so I asked her and she said, I think I allow myself some time and space to not have it all together. If my mind and body need rest, I don't force myself to be the best version of myself. I'll order takeout, I'll read a book, I'll fall behind on texts and emails, I'll rot in bed a bit. And then when I need to start feeling less chaotic in my mind, I'll also start doing small things that I can control. Take an everything shower, change my sheets, catch up on small things. I get the robot vacuum going on the dog hair, pick up clutter and toys, clear off the kitchen counter, get some essential oils going. I can control those things, and the visual clutter adds to the mental clutter. So it feels good to clean and compartmentalize that part of your life. I mean, I still withdraw and become less social, and I won't be the best mom, friend, employee I can be. But the first steps in coming out of the overwhelm is to make my safe space, my home, feel more calm and picked up. Powering through and only positivity and forcing a routine will just never be me. I spend time in a funk from time to time and feel things deeply, but that's okay. Baby steps to get out. And I think that that's like a really beautiful answer. I vibe with her. We have those feels. There's no, hey, I got to be this perfect person and handle this overwhelming situation the best way I can. It's like, no, give yourself a moment to feel. Love that answer. So then this next friend, she and I have also been through seasons together. We've been through some crazy seasons. You grow, you go through seasons of life and you change, and that's wonderful. And she has 3 kids and a husband that is amazing. And they're in the middle of transitioning through things, changes with his work. I had to interpret hers because she voice noted me. Her number one thing, though, was physical activity. She, like a year ago, was really injured. She didn't have much mobility. And it killed her a little. She now makes sure that every day that she does something, and especially in the hard times, she gives herself an hour and a half every day to be physical because the body does keep score. 2, she physically writes down a to-do list before the kids wake up. I totally get that too, by the way, because when my child wakes up, life is going. It's her silent time. She gets what needs to be done for that day, for also the week, the next 2 to 3 weeks. She does a peripheral view of what she needs to be aware of, because with her ADHD, she gets overwhelmed. So when she physically writes it down, it makes it better. And I vibe with her too by that. I'm a pen and paper girl. I'm always going to be a pen and paper girl. I would love to be like a tablet or like on my phone, and that would do it for me. Sometimes I keep notes when I'm thinking them and I don't have pen and paper, but pen and paper is my life. It's just, yeah, I get it. And she uses index cards, which is interesting because they're small. And she puts the index card in her car facing her during the day. So as she does things, she gets to mark it off, which is just, There's not much better for me when I get to cross something off my to-do list. It's such a satisfying thing. It's one of the top ones. And I think it's because it's consistently so satisfying. She also makes sure that she plans out meals. She used to stress eat. When she would get overwhelmed or stressed, she would like order food and she'd get order fatigue. So now she goes over in her pantry, what she has in there, what she's buying weekly, what she rotates in and out. She keeps it so she's not setting herself up going back into the bad habits. Prior planning. It's important to recognize the types of stress because as we get older and situations change and others change, it does impact the approach to stress. When you have a strong support system, it feels easier or more manageable. As much of a loner as she is and enjoys the internal processing and going through that, having a partner who's stable and supports impacts how she can put to action how she approaches the stress. Stress regulation and stress management. She manages stress, but she also schedules it into her day. She handles stress now more organized and regimented than it was 3 years ago, 6 years ago, 2020. She's a hot mess, like most of the world. And yeah, And I wish that I had that. She's so regimented. She's so strict on everything that she does. It's very orderly and like routine and all of that. And it's amazing. That's how she keeps her kids like all together. They all do different things and she like is able to manage that somehow. She's inspiring. So then my other friend, he has 2 girls. He said, oh, it's a tough one. When I'm stressed out about life, I definitely tend to lean into doing stuff with the kids to distract. Go to the park, trips, board games, whatever. He partakes in a little extracurriculars, a little something, something, maybe. And he plays his Nintendo Switch. It's another one of those things that help, especially if the kids are asleep. But cleaning and organizing is also something I vibe with. My other best friend, he said that he kind of just veggies. When it happens, it happens. You know, he just, life is lifing and thus such is life. So my other friend, she likes to ground herself. She does like the 5 things to touch, 4 things you see, smell, all that exercise. Like when you're having a panic attack, she gets grounded. She also likes to vent to specific people. She has like code words that she uses, like specific ones to know how big of a deal it is and how intense and how necessary the venting is at the moment. She likes to clean as well. It's a way to distract herself. She also does retail therapy and it's bad, but it is what it is. She also touches grass, walk in nature. At the end of the week, she makes sure that she does something for her and no one else, just to make her happy and to feel that happiness again, which I totally get too. She said it's important because we can't all stop fires. You can only contain what you can control. And even when you think you have it under control, there's always something that comes up out of nowhere. And that's the universe saying, hey, you did what you did. You tried. Put your hands up and that's it. She said something interesting. She said, it's like we're all firefighters and we're all putting out fires every day, one type or another. We all have specific fires that we can put out. But sometimes when we're trying to put out fires that are maybe beyond us, we're actually causing other little fires everywhere around. That's such an interesting thing to think. So those are the ways that my friends and people cope and they handle stress and what they do, how they react. And I feel like it's similar to some people. It's different than some people, and that's fine. It's just an interesting thought that we all have to deal with it. And we all deal with it in different ways, but they overlap, yet they're very different. And sometimes your circumstance, your current situation can have a play in that, have a say in that. Sometimes it just is life and you react the way you react because that's who you are. So I wanted to see, what do the professionals say? What does the psychology world say about human behavior, how we react to stress when life is lifing hard and we can't do anything about it? What happens? They basically said they get anxious, they get depressed, even burnout happens, and then the reactions, positive or negative, happen. And the reason it happens, though, is because we have this illusion of control. And it is an illusion because in reality, I don't think we have that much control. We can control how we react to things, but we can't control what happens to us. But we like to think we can because it gives us a sense of safety. But when the illusion's broken, that safety is gone, thus reactions. And they listed a bunch of different reactions that I think are unnecessary, but I thought the things that they said we should do in those scenarios was interesting. So the first one would be to shift from the exterior chaos to what you can control, which are your reactions and emotions and self-care and boundaries. And boundaries was an interesting one. They also said radical acceptance, which is just accepting that there's things in life that we cannot control. And it's supposed to eliminate a feeling of emotional burden. I can't say that I personally feel that. I feel like saying that like I can't control this doesn't make me feel any better, to be honest. But maybe some people it does. And then I think my least favorite one, and I'm going to put an asterisk here because it comes up multiple times. Reframe the situation. Challenging experiences are opportunities for resilience. It's just not for me. And I'll get more into that later, but to be clear, I think that that's an absolutely valid and wonderful option. Another amazing way to handle stress when it's happening to you, especially when it's not in your control. I just think that there are different situations that maybe that doesn't apply and different people who may not be able to do that. But I'm not negating the fact that it's an amazing option. I think that it's generalized and that doesn't typically work, but whatever. I'm not hating, and I know that they're right. It just doesn't work for me. The other things that we can do that are more like actual, realistic, straightforward ones are focus on things that you can control, and that have positive outcomes like cleaning, organizing, me. Do things that you enjoy or that you know bring stress relief, like listening to music, being with your friends, taking a bath, gardening, reading, playing video games. If that gives you that happiness, that joy, and also relieves that stress and makes you not feel overwhelmed, do it, as long as it's not hurting someone else. 3, actual physiological changes, things that you can do to physiologically change your body from being in that stress state, like breathing, meditating, yoga, movement in general, like walking. It doesn't have to be exercise. Maintaining a good sleeping schedule, which you can check me as not doing right now. Not a great time. Being outside for me is one, like being in nature. Like my friend said, touching grass, I guess. Oh, is that what the kids say? I'm so old. I don't understand. Well, whatever. That's neither here nor there. I like to be outside. I take a walk in the morning, and that is vital to me. I don't care how tired I am, how sick I am, how whatever I am. If I don't take a walk in the morning and feel that like nature vibe, I am not ready to handle anything, let alone chaos and stress. Oh, eating healthy and then connecting with people, socializing, and not even just your friends. And I mean, friends are great and a mental health professional if you're in that place. No shame on that. But even going to the grocery store and talking to the person who's checking you out, be like, how's your day? That human interaction actually does so much more than we imagine. So now that we know what the general professionals say, I wanted to know what my favorite podcasters say. The ones that 2 years ago I started listening to and like have changed me, or have like amazing podcasts and interviews and perspectives and just, they're just awesome. For instance, Mel Robbins. I love Mel Robbins so much. I love it. I love when she opens, she goes, hey guys, it's your friend Mel. I just want to be like, hey Mel, it's me, Liz. How you doing? Because she's just so wonderful. And I feel like she has such an amazing perspective on so many different things. And she talks to some amazing people, has these incredible interviews. And really, even when she has her solo ones and she breaks things down and gives you a way to get through whatever it is that you're going through, or deal with a thing that maybe you have been wanting to fix or try, you didn't know what, she really breaks it down. And the initial episode that I found, though, was her in the thick of it. She was going through something with her husband and being human, showing like, hey, I'm not perfect. Look at me. I'm doing this. And she basically said you have to figure out if you're an over or an under functioning stress responder. I made that word up, but how you react. And being self-aware is imperative, because then you can catch yourself and either not do one or the other, because the extremes of both of those are not good. And I thought, okay, that's great. I totally vibe with it. I think we need more. But then I found a bunch more, obviously, that were more her go-tos. Like, let yourself feel and then move on. Embrace those feelings, the emotions, but give yourself a deadline to stop and move forward. Release them. The let them thing. Stop forcing outcomes. The 5-second rule, count backwards from 5 and move, I guess. And it interrupts that thought process and stops you from doing it. It's like a brain thing. Separate the scene from the movie. Difficult times are a scene in our movie of life, but that doesn't mean that the rest of the movie is going to be bad or ruined. Every setback provides lessons for the future. And this is another asterisk, and put an asterisk right there, because I just feel like, again, easier said than done. And I think that not every situation calls for that kind of mindset, because those devastating, horrible things, I don't think you're like, it's a scene in a movie, move forward. But then I found someone who I'd never heard of before. I had heard the podcast. I'd heard of it. It's the mindset mentor, Rob Dial. And he had a podcast that was literally named How to Deal with Hard Times. And I was like, he's got to have answers. We did. The duality of life. Life is good and bad. And actually, they need each other to function, because you don't know the good unless you have bad situations. And you don't know bad situations unless you have good ones. So it is a duality. Everything that you're going through is part of the process. Victim mindset is bad because you're sitting there and saying, poor me, someone needs to save me, and no one's coming, which I totally agree. But sometimes it's hard to get out of that. But I get it, for sure. There's lots to learn in those bad moments. Yes, I think that can apply. And your breakthrough is coming. Yes, that can apply as well. And he said that you're asking the wrong questions. Like when you sit there and you go, why is this happening to me? Why does this keep happening to me? Why am I here? You're asking the wrong question. And he addresses neuroplasticity, where your brain will follow the same neural pathways, I guess. And then if you switch up the narrative and you start saying things that are different, you'll build new neural pathways. I'm simplifying it really a lot, but basically, I totally vibe with that. Dr. Amen says that, and I'm like learning about it and really actively working on it with negativity and self-talk and all of that. Totally valid and very, very helpful. My issue with that is that then he says, instead of saying, why is this happening to me? It's, what is life trying to teach me? What lesson am I supposed to learn here? And I think that that works in a lot of situations, and it's an incredible way to think. But I just think that there are times that that does not apply. I don't give a shit how mentally strong and put together I am. There's no way I'm going to think like that in certain situations. And that's where my asterisks kind of come out, where the full discussion of this is. I think across a lot of the podcasts that I listen to and a lot of the information that I listen to and read, they're all valid. I mean, these people put so much time and effort into the studies. They do these interviews, and they are all really valid things that I know work and I know are good for us and would really help. I just don't think that they're applicable always. I don't think it's quite fair to just say that that's how, when you're in a bad situation, when life is lifing so hard, that this is what you should do and you'll get better. Because A, not everyone is in that mindset to actually think like that, to be able to take that step in a realistic way. 2 years ago, if I read, oh, you just need to say, what is life trying to teach me? I mean, I had bad thing after bad thing after bad thing happen. I was in such a negative place. I felt like I couldn't catch a fucking break. And so if I heard that, I would be like, you can go fuck yourself. Pardon my French. I'm so sorry. But seriously, there's no way that I would ever think like that. For a lot of people, I think that there's like steps that you go through in improving your mental strength, your mental health, and everything. And I think that that is like a step 5, maybe a step 3. Okay. But if you're barely able to take step 1, that right there is making it seem like there's no way I can get better. I think it's just an unrealistic expectation for people to say, when you're in a really hard time in life, there, go do that. No, absolutely not. The bigger issue for me was, I don't think that that applies in all situations. I think there are some horrific things that happen, and horrific experiences, catastrophic experiences, the most devastating things that can happen to you. And I would never, ever catch myself asking that question. Like if my daughter died, if my dog died even, if I got in a horrible accident and I all of a sudden can't walk and it wasn't my fault, like out of nowhere, if something like that happened to me, I am in no way, shape, or form going to ever ask myself, what lesson am I supposed to be learning? Fuck that. Are you kidding me? My kid died. No way. I totally think that this is an incredible way to think, and definitely a positive thing and a great way to cope. And it probably does amazing things. But I just think for myself, there's no way that I would ever do that in those types of situations. And I think that there's some people who are not mentally ready to do that. But I find this across a lot of these podcasts where they tell you what to do. And it's like, oh yeah, sure, I just need to do that. Really? You don't think I would if I could? I think there's a lot of that kind of generalization that almost turns people off. It does the opposite effect. It doesn't motivate them. It makes them feel like, well, this is what you want me. That's all I have to do. Great. There's no way I can even get there. I'm not even close. And there's no like, I don't know, transition period. There's no, if you're not there yet, then it's just like, this is your answer. Just do it. I would if I could, you know? I just think it's a little unfair, but that's just me. Again, they're all right and valid. I know that they are. I just don't think, I just don't think I could do that. And I just don't think it's fair sometimes. Then one of my favorites, Dr. Amen, he had some great things because they were like tangible things you can do in those moments. So kill the ants, automatic negative thoughts. A core strategy for managing tough times is stopping the negative thoughts that fuel anxiety and depression. Identify and question. Write down the negative thoughts and ask if they're actually true. Don't believe everything you think. Fight the mental chaos by turning thoughts around, which I think is a part of neuroplasticity. Your brain very well will believe you. If you tell it, I'm ugly, I'm horrible, I'm stupid, it will be like, okay, yeah, no, I believe it. You say it enough. So yeah, don't believe that. I know it's like fake it till you make it a little bit, but you will develop new neural pathways that will actually, you'll start to believe it and it'll get easier. That's what happened to me When I did the 3 positives a couple years ago, I couldn't think of anything to do. I was so stuck and I was in like a dangerous mental space. I knew that if I continued to be in this place of my life, this negativity, I was headed to a dangerous spot and I couldn't go there. And so I did whatever I could. I didn't hear it anywhere. I'm sure that it's somewhere published and someone actually came up with it. But I was like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? Every time I go in that negative spiral, I'm going to say 3 positive things. They have to be real. They have to be different. And I have to say them out loud. And I did it every single time, sometimes like hundreds of times a day. Literally, I would have to stop myself and say it out loud. And at first it felt ridiculous and it was hard and it was whatever. But eventually, as time went on, it's like my brain started to see the positives and feel the positives. It's crazy what you can do to your brain. That whole, it's just, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. The other thing he said was practice post-traumatic growth. Instead of letting those difficult moments and loss destroy you, he encourages us to use them to grow stronger, healthier, and happier. Meaningful grief, which was hard for me, but I kind of understood it. He shared that his own grief over his father's death was channeled into a productive, meaningful action. I think that that's possible, but I just think that that's after. That's why it's post. And then focus on what you can control. In times of crisis, refocus energy on personal habits that stabilize your mental state. Cleaning, organizing. Build a brain reserve. Basically, protect your brain. Avoid the things that are bad for it that we all know are. And do diet and exercise. Make sure that you're putting good things in your body. And then practicing gratitude, which I think is kind of like the positives. Being grateful for things. Because as much as yes, I know that right now what we are going through as a family is rough and it sucks. But I also know that there's someone out there who's dealing with something worse. And so I'm grateful for the fact that I am not in that situation. And I find things to be grateful. I'm grateful for my daughter. It is helpful when you change that mindset. Being grateful actually does reframe. And I think that that's one of the ways that like reframing is actually helpful in all situations. Positivity bias training. Look for what is going right rather than focusing on what's going wrong. My 3 positives. And then curate your social circle. Stay away from people who drain you and don't keep you in that place. Be around the people who lift you up and make you feel good because moods are contagious. That's what he says. And then some simple tools to actually like get through it. Diaphragmatic breathing and the 5-question technique. When you're overwhelmed, write down what you're feeling and apply 5 questions to challenge it. I feel like those are tangible things that you can do, right? I think that those are actual things you can implement. I mean, not all of them, but for me, versus the, hey, just do this, change this, whatever. That's why he's Dr. Amen, right? He's got just the best shit. I'm telling you, I watch his stuff all the time. I read his stuff. My dream is to be brain mapped by Dr. Amen. Just see what's going on in here. I know it'd be horrifying and terrifying. I'd just love to see it. It'd be so cool. So when I was going through this episode, I was preparing for it. This whole thing is about coping. I'm in the thick of it right now. And I was like, oh my gosh, my dad's Thunderbolts. So in, I think, 94, he wrote a book called The Winner Within. And his chapter was Thunderbolts. And it related not only to his professional basketball life, but also to a personal family situation that was going on where a thunderbolt happened. And it's basically lifing really hard out of nowhere. Can't control it. And it's crippling. His actual definition, by the way, I want to make sure I have it. A thunderbolt is an event totally beyond your control, such as injuries, trades, economic shifts, crises, health things, whatever, that violently rock your environment, rock your foundation. Something that shakes you to your core, that hits you out of nowhere, that literally stops you in your tracks. And you just feel it and you know it and there's no avoiding it. It just comes to you, right? We had this whole conversation about it where not only did we talk about thunderbolts, but we talked about where thunderbolts come from, what to do with them, his whole thought process on coping, on handling lifing really hard, and how do we deal with it when it's out of our control, moving forward, and the reality that life is lifing and it's going to continue to life. So he said, instead of succumbing to it in a victim mentality or making excuses, successful people, they take the hit, they learn from the problem, and they adjust their strategy. He said that overcoming a thunderbolt requires thorough preparation and self-confidence, allowing the team to meet the challenge head on and turn it into their advantage. Basically, when you get there, when you get hit with a thunderbolt and it hits you so hard, you can't avoid it. It happens. It happens and you can't ever prep for it, you know, that thunderbolt. They change you. They hit you hard. They affect you deeply. But that's life. It strips away your control of a situation. And you can't choose how you're hit, but you can always choose how you respond to it. And you have to be calm about it. Because if you get caught up in the chaos, if you keep going, oh my gosh, what do I do? Then you're reacting, and there's no positive out of that. He said that we're all products of our environment. Education, circumstances, our raising, and we all kind of deal with it in different ways. But at the end of the day, we all do have to deal with it. And whatever we're the product of does have an effect and does kind of determine how you are going to react to it. And that's neither here nor there, but you have to figure it out, you know? But you have to feel it too. You got to feel it. You got to acknowledge it. It's there. See it. Don't avoid it. Because if you avoid it, then you're just pretending. You're just faking it, and you're kind of in denial, which is never a good thing. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. He hated using the word kill you, but I'm going to say it. That whole mentality is true. Yes, it hit you hard. Yes, you are devastated. You are affected negatively, but you will come out strong at the other end if you continue to move forward. And that's the thing. You have to move forward no matter what, because life is going to keep coming, keep going. And so if it's not something where there's death involved, if it doesn't kill you, it can make you stronger. It can become a positive thing, even to a point where you manifest the thunderbolt. But more so in a way that you may acknowledge that there's something going on. Like you're stuck, you're not moving, whatever. You're not winning. You're not functioning right. You're not handling life in the right way. And so you manifest this thunderbolt. My dad said that in his coaching career, he would actually cause like a thunderbolt one way or another. Not a huge one, but something that would shake shit up. And it would get his guys going. It would get them out of this place, this stagnant spot. Maybe in his work or wherever, maybe with us, I don't know. But either way, doing that, it can be a positive thing because it can cause you to face whatever's happening and shake you into a new reality so that you can actually become a better version of yourself. You've had this thunderbolt, it hit you, you were affected. It was rough, right? Life is lifing hard and you're dealing with it. But now you have that experience with you. Now you can take that and you know what it is. You know you've been through it. Life is lifing and it will continue to life. Eventually you will hit another thunderbolt. But now you have a little experience. Now you know that you can get through it. Now you know how to handle it better. You'll do better than you did before. And you're stronger, right? And so as you keep adding these up, it manifests into a win. He was telling me that one of his favorite quotes is, adversity is a seed of equivalent benefit. And I can see where he's coming from. I can see how that is something that he uses frequently, because I think he, in his career and in life, we face adversity. And I think there's an equivalent benefit as long as you're looking for it, as long as you're trying, as long as you're working to get out of it, doing what you can do to get through that adversity. Maybe sometimes the equivalent benefit is the fact that you are now on the other side and you're stronger and you have a different perspective. It's changed you. And maybe that change is a better person. But at the end of the day, you also have to compartmentalize sometimes. Like that thunderbolt will hit you hard and it can be in a horrible time. You're pulled to be reacting to this, but something else is happening and you don't have that moment to dwell and sit and whatever. You have to acknowledge it. But one of the things that he definitely emphasized to me was that sometimes you have to compartmentalize. Life is not going to wait for you to be ready for it. When something hits you really hard, no matter how horrible it is, no matter how devastating it is, no matter how much it really just strips you to the core and rocks your foundation, life doesn't care. It's going to keep happening. And there's other things that are going to pull you. Like with my husband, he had to leave. My daughter was there and she was wondering what was going on. And I was, also concerned with what was going on. But at the end of the day, I had to move forward because I had to take care of my daughter. I had to take care of my dogs. Life went on. It didn't mean that this thing wasn't happening. It didn't mean that I didn't care. I wasn't avoiding it. But I just had to keep going because life does that. It keeps going. And it's probably going to hit you with another thunderbolt. You just have to learn from it, come back stronger, as long as it doesn't kill you. So I always tell my dad, I tell people all the time, but I tell him my favorite line that he told me as a kid, like I remember vividly hearing it often, was you have to be an active participant in your own survival. And so he told me that that whole line came from a trip that he and some friends and my mom took down the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon. And there was this guide who was giving them instructions. He was telling them what to do. So the first step was you have to put on your life jacket. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You must wear a life jacket. And then he said, basically, you're going to fall out of the boat. It will most likely happen. And when it does, you will go under. You will go under that water, feel it rushing by you, that current taking you, and it will be terrifying. You're not going to be sure if you're going to make it, but you're going to pop back up. You're going to come back to the surface. The only thing is, when you do, we will be 5 yards down that way. We will be far away, and we can't come back and get you. We're not going to. So you have to be an active participant in your own survival. He said like you have to like put your legs in front of you and like kind of guide yourself, I'm guessing, so you don't get crushed by rocks. But it was an interesting thing because when he said that, when he's telling me what this guide was saying, all of a sudden I came up with this like kind of metaphor, this like crossing between like lifing and lifing hard and there's nothing you can do about it. Kind of with this whole guide instructions with you have to wear a life vest. You have to wear a life jacket. You have to be ready. Life is going to life. You have to live life. You have to do it the best you can, and it's going to come. And saying that you're most likely going to fall out of the boat and you're going to go under. You're going to get hit with a thunderbolt. Life is going to life hard. You're going to get rocked. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. You're going to experience chaos and adversity and anxiety and stress, and bad things are going to happen. It's just it's a fact of life that bad things happen. But guess what? You're going to come to the surface. You're going to make it. You're going to come back up. You're going to get through whatever it is that hits you one way or another, and you're going to be back in life. But the thing is that life is not stopping. Life is there. Your life in general, the world is there. It's 5 yards at least ahead, and it's not waiting for you. It's not waiting for you to be ready. It's lifing. It's going on. So you have to be an active participant in your own survival. You have to be an active participant in your survival, getting through that thunderbolt, that moment, through lifing. And you got to do it yourself. And there's ways to maneuver it. We all will maneuver it one way or another. And I was like, wow, that's a crazy parallel. I don't even think I told him that. So when he listens to this, he'll hear that. He's so inspiring. But at the end of the day, like when it comes down to all of this, you know, we all deal with life and life happens. And the thing is, bad things are going to happen, and they're going to happen again and again and again. But you learn from everything that you go through and you figure out a way to cope. And the truth is, no matter what your coping mechanism is, no matter what life is throwing at you, no matter how you choose to get through the stress, the anxiety, the chaos that is uncontrollable, you can do it. Maybe you can't. I don't know. I'm just trying to be motivational. But truthfully, I think you can do it. And we are all doing it. That's the real truth. We're all doing it actively. Well, maybe not actively, maybe passively, but we're all doing it. We're getting through. We just have to keep going. And so during this time of my life where we are in one of those moments where life is lifing real hard, we are going. We are continuing. We are not going to stop. We have to keep going with life. And we know it's going to happen again. And there's nothing we can do about it. And I'll probably clean the house again, organize something. Maybe this time I'll focus on the garage. We definitely need to go through that. Or Olivia's toys, because there's so many, or one of the storage areas. I've got plenty of options. So I'll use my coping mechanism, and hopefully you use yours, or maybe you found a new way, and maybe I'll try to even implement a new way so that I can improve my mental health and get through it a little bit better. Come through that thunderbolt stronger as a champion on the other side. But this is what we got to do, guys. Go through life as it's lifing, taking one step at a time, not knowing what's going to happen, but seeing how it goes.